Before we start, feel free to skip this part if you really couldn't care. I'm on Patreon now, so if you want to become a patron, you now can. Although don't by any means feel obliged to do so. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description. Also, I'd like to thank Lizzie for finding and supporting my Patreon before I'd even announced it anywhere, somehow. Thanks, Lizzie. Click below to watch the original Sims video, or to buy Kingsman 2, the Lego Ninjago movie. I think I may have fucked up the title card. Fuck it, this is how the video starts now. Also, yes, I'm still currently stuck using iMovie. Oh, and one final thing before we start, I'd like to thank Jacob, who submitted a script for this video. Doing this kind of thing is really helpful and it gives me a great new perspective when I'm writing my scripts. It did have a big impact on the script I ended up writing for this video, so thanks.
Old-timey ninja movie-style logos are hopefully not racist.
I mean, I think it would be difficult to argue that this homage to a genre of movie is racist.
The giant taxidermied bird in this hate mask would be enough to send any non-movie child running immediately.
Believe it or not, I used to be a child and can tell you from first-hand experience that that's not true.
Is that real?
Yes, it's real. Everything here is real.
Is that real?
Jesus, kid, he just answered your goddamn question. Listening might actually help in your pursuit of friends. Sleight of hand this good just after saying everything here is real.
Yes, of course. He claims that all of his merchandise is authentic and therefore shouldn't be able to do magic tricks.
Have you ever heard the legend behind the legend of a Ninjago?
No shit, the subtitles for this movie, the fucking subtitles, have a registered trademark icon after the word Ninjago. I took a screenshot and everything. Also, legend behind the legend? We haven't even heard the first legend. Did we have to do research before we watched this?
No.
Did we have to do research before we watched this? This is worse than a Marvel movie, expecting us to have watched half a season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before seeing Captain America Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier was also perfectly enjoyable without the background information.
Who is this fucking kid? Where did he come from? Does he have parents? Siblings?
This information is not important or relevant to the story and enjoyment of the movie. Wait, Jeremy, you forgot to send the fact that we don't get an incredibly detailed backstory for this fucking fish. That's a fucking loose end right there.
Also, this is The Princess Bride, The Page Master, The Lego Movie, and somehow there's still 98 minutes to go.
That sin was literally just you saying the name of some films, quoting the movie's runtime, and then rolling the dinger like any of it meant anything at all.
Yeah, don't you dare come out, at least until our secret ninja force steps in.
If they're filmed and in downtown streets and on the fucking morning news, do we really need to waste syllables on the word secret?
Given the fact that the ninjas' identities are unknown, and the fact that they're operating from a warehouse on the edge of town that no one has managed to track them back to, I would say yes. Yes, they are a secret ninja team. Similar to how the Secret Service is still a secret service even though people know they exist. Thanks for that sin, by the way, Jacob. And also thanks for this next sin coming up.
How does the news have footage from inside the cockpit of the ninja robot?
Good question, but I think a more pressing question would be, how does the news have footage at all of a fight that doesn't happen until the next day?
Earth Ninja!
And these freeze-frame, over-animated character naming screens are getting really fucking old. Not all movies are Deadpool or even Suicide Squad.
Deadpool didn't have those.
Water Ninja!
Sure, why not? Let's throw an Avatar: The Last Airbender into the rip-off stew. At this point, only 5 minutes in, mind you, the flavors are already so congealed that new ingredients won't really make a noticeable impact.
I'm already fairly sure that just having someone with water powers doesn't constitute an Avatar ripoff, but Jacob seems to have some fucking advanced-ass knowledge on Lego movie franchises. So I'm just gonna leave this one to him. Actually, Ninjago is a spiritual successor to the popular Lego theme Bionicle, which first came out in 2001. Which is 4 years before Avatar. Bionicle, in turn, was designed as a competitor to the Pokemon franchise, so a much more accurate statement would be that Ninjago is a Pokemon ripoff. Also, having a water ninja does not make it an Avatar ripoff. Avatar, Ninjago, and countless other franchises have drawn from the ancient Greek elements Earth, Fire, Wind, and Water. It wasn't a new idea when Avatar was doing it either. You may as well have said, Ninjago is a ripoff of The Matrix, because they both have fighting in them.
You fellas need to inform yourselves of where we're at culturally.
Going to go out on a limb and say this movie will not be anywhere close to the definition of culturally sensitive, so this seems like the pot calling the kettle a lot of culturally insensitive things.
I'd love to argue against you here and say that this movie isn't culturally insensitive, or even agree with you and say that it is, but I can't do that because you haven't said why you think it's culturally insensitive. You've just gone, oh, this movie is culturally insensitive without drawing attention to any of the actual things that you think are sins here, so I can't really argue against them. I mean, I certainly didn't notice anything culturally insensitive in this movie. It's entirely possible something went over my head, but I'm not going to trust you on this until you can prove it.
Look, if you're this unpopular because your dad's a villain, why not just homeschool, eh? Or not school at all?
I've been trying for a while now to write a line that takes that sin and emphasizes the problems with it by making a sarcastic, exaggerated example of the kind of advice you just gave, but as hard as I try, I can't make anything sound worse than, "Are you getting bullied at school? Simple, just don't fucking go."
Why not just homeschool, eh?
There are also plenty of conceivable reasons that someone might not want to or be able to homeschool.
Or not school at all. I mean, how rewarding can this kid's life in public school be?
The reward is the part where he gets an education?
Even the girl with dental headgear is mocking this dude. That's not real life, and I say that as someone who wore dental headgear like this to school.
Yes, the point of this is to show that Lloyd is at the absolute bottom of the barrel, but well done for almost picking up on that.
Garmadork and the Dork Squad.
Said the male cheerleader wearing pink pom-poms on his hands, but whatever.
I ordered a pair of pink pom-poms for this, and I don't have them. They've not arrived yet, which is a shame, because if I had them, I'd be able to make quite a funny joke here. In my opinion, I think the joke would be funny. But I would still quite like to make the jokes. I'd just like you to imagine that this pot of hair gel and this Doctor Who Adventures wallet are a pair of pink pom-poms. Okay, let's do the joke.
Garmadork and the Dork Squad.
Said the male cheerleader wearing pink pom-poms on his hands, but whatever.
Are we gonna have a fucking problem here? Wow, that was definitely worth it.
What's my name? Garmadon!
Movie shows me 3 puke, then say the villain's name shots in succession. And, well, I have rules about that.
Come on, man, that wasn't puke, that was a spit take. It was very obviously a spit take.
Uh-oh, it's Garmadon!
Thanks, Lloyd.
Okay, this is pretty funny. But also, like, again, to beat a dead horse, why does Lloyd even keep coming to this school?
Probably because he has to, and also it's a good idea.
How is he this hated and taunted, but not one person has beat him up yet?
Lloyd has been on screen now for, 10 minutes? If that. And you took that to mean Lloyd is never ever beat up, ever. Also, he's a fucking ninja, mate. I'd say the kids at this school probably learned not to try and take on Lloyd physically fairly early on.
So what happens if they ever get assigned new lockers?
Well, the fact that this is even here means the school has got to be in on it, so I'm guessing they won't be.
Or when they eventually graduate?
Then they'll probably remove this?
Also, this hangar appears to be above ground, so why would they have to descend in the lockers?
The lockers probably took them to whatever transport system took them to the warehouse. Or maybe the tubes from the lockers take the ninjas to the warehouse via any direction other than down, because, corners exist.
Go Ninjas Go! Is that how they got their name? The Ninjago name? If so, why do they pronounce it Ninjago instead of Ninjago?
Just asking questions that nobody really cares about the answer to is a great way to pad the runtime of your Sins video. Also because Ninjago sounds stupid as a place name, Jeremy. I don't know what I'm doing.
Repetition equals laugh sex Wilhelm.
This movie is a satirical movie that invokes cliches deliberately in order to mock them by taking them really, really stupidly far, and exaggerating them to the point that they're clearly absurd and clearly satirical. This is an example of that.
Just one day to retire.
Guy has 1 day till retirement, mentions it, and dies, cliche.
Except he doesn't die, and we see him again later on in the film. Thanks, Jacob.
You never truly defeat Garmadon until you see things from a different point of view.
Gee, thanks, Oracle Yoda, Sensei, Dustin Hoffman, Rat, Morpheus, Obi-Wan, and Gandalf.
Again, this movie is poking fun at cliches, and to do that, it does have to invoke the cliches.
Your core signs are not just cool names. They are the elemental powers you were all born with.
Like the element of green.
Wow, you really missed the point of that one. For you to think that's a sin, you have to have missed both the joke of Lloyd thinking that his element is green, and the eventual point of not giving him a real element in the story. Oh, also I was going to make a 420 style weed joke when they first said that Lloyd's element was green, but I can't do that on iMovie, so could you imagine that I did that? There'd be the words 420 flashing on screen and air horns, and probably Snoop Dogg would be in there somewhere. So just imagine that.
This didn't work the last time when Garmadon wasn't in this giant Voltron thing, so why the hell does Lloyd think it'll work this time?
He is firing literally everything he's got. What else do you want him to do? Oh well, I probably won't succeed, so why try? Let's just file that under the fantastic advice Jeremy has given this video folder with if you're being bullied at school, just don't go.
Lego shark projectiles rip off the seagulls from Finding Nemo.
No, they don't.
How did the sharks get in the elevator? Did Garmadon shoot some in there before going around to the other side of the building, knowing the people in the office would take this route?
This movie is deliberately absurdist. Like, this shark is on the phone. Although for most people, the fact that there is a shark cannon present would give away the fact that the movie is absurdist, but you do you.
Are you crossing your fingers?
That's physically impossible. Like, how could I be crossing my fingers? I have these things.
Garmadon brings up a good point. How would Lloyd even know what fingers are? That shouldn't even be in the Lego lexicon.
Remember how this is all just a silly story being told to a kid by an old guy in a shop?
I'm just saying, if there were a real-world cat on this Lego set chasing a red laser pointer, he would definitely chase this tiny parachuting guy too. The laser pointer joke was good, but those aren't the only things that cats chase.
Yes, because a cat that's currently on the other side of the city, surrounded by cars, helicopters, and neon flashing signs, would definitely be distracted by a falling piece of cloth next to a tower. Thanks for that sin, by the way, Jacob.
I've always tried to get Lloyd to see that he shouldn't be ashamed of who his father is.
Why? His father is the worst person alive in this universe. Why would you spend years trying to tell Lloyd to accept his father's identity? You're a terrible mother.
Just because your father is a bad person doesn't mean that you should feel ashamed. Oh, I'd just like to take time out to thank this movie for having the first fictional character called Jay in it I've ever seen that isn't a sex pest. Thanks, movie.
I look like I'm making out with two people, don't I?
Yes, one of whom is apparently blowing you, kids movie villain.
Jeremy, even the lower part of that is still his torso, and that's not how you blow someone.
This is my least favorite place I've ever been.
Well, you chose the path-taking advice of a supervillain over that of your friend, so deal.
So let me get this straight. You're sinning this scene because in it, Jay is reacting to a bad situation which he and his friends caused by doing something stupid, and not the scene in which they do the stupid thing, but instead the scene where they react appropriately to the results of the stupid thing they did.
Against all common sense, these idiot ninja students bring a captured, incapacitated Garmadon with them because they believe they need a ninja master in order to complete the quest to the ultimate weapon, which they want to use to stop Garmadon, the guy they just made their master and already have captured. Do I have that right?
Well, you should really have asked that question before you put this video out, because no, you don't. They want the ultimate weapon to defeat Meowthra, the cat.
What do we do? We're worthless without our mech!
Then why the hell did you run into the middle of a battle?
They didn't run in, they were ambushed.
With undead generals.
The generals aren't undead, they're alive.
Get out of here and make it to the ultimate weapon.
That's not...
Why do you still need the weapon? Meowthra has either moved on or destroyed Ninjago by now.
Meowthra has done no such thing.
Please not Jim Croce, please not Jim Croce. Jinxed us. Whatever.
This must have been real exciting for all the 5-year-old Jim Croce fans.
Can you name a single artist that you would expect 5-year-olds to know and this joke would work with?
What door only locks from the outside?
Just because it can be locked from the outside doesn't mean it can only be locked from the outside. That's like seeing a parked car and going, what kind of idiot would build a car that doesn't move?
The helicopter that stopped working and crashed now miraculously works again.
Crashed? Yes. Stopped working? No. They crashed the helicopter and then found the place it had crashed was the place they needed to be, so they got out of it and stopped using it. But there was never any indication that it had stopped working. So, the sin total was 37 sins. That's quite possibly the highest number ever, excluding times that we, mass added sins for something, added lots of sins at the same time for something. I think this is the most sins we've ever got where they were all just individual sins. So, in light of that, the penalty will be the Grand Sin Prize. I don't fucking know what that is, it's just some words. So now it's time for a quickie review, an end segment, and a teaser. It's time for a quickie review, the new semi-regular Cinema Sin segment. So, the Lego Ninjago movie was, in my opinion, the weakest of the 3 Lego films so far. However, the bar was set incredibly high, and that's not to say that this is a bad film. The Lego Ninjago movie is a very silly, absurdist comedy that knows what it is. And what it is daft. The characters were all over the top in a way that was good and funny. However, the reason that I think this movie falls flat when compared to the other 2 Lego movies is just that. The movie puts so much effort into the jokes that you don't really get an opportunity to get invested into the characters. If all of the character relationships that had been built up over the film just ended and then all the characters died, I wouldn't really care because I wasn't invested in them to begin with. And that's not necessarily a problem per se, it's just the way the movie is. I mean, the movie didn't arouse me either, but that's okay because that's not what it was meant to do. This isn't a problem insofar as it's just a quality that the movie didn't have. And since the other 2 Lego movies did have this, at least to an extent, this is why I feel this is the weakest movie. I'd say that the jokes and the humour were about on par with the Lego Batman movie, which was very funny, so that's definitely a compliment. Highlights for me were Garmadon and Master Wu. There was never a dull moment when either of these characters were on screen. It was just great to see 2 character archetypes that normally take themselves incredibly seriously, not giving a shit and just kind of pissing about. Also, Garmadon had a cannon that fired sharks. So those were my thoughts on the Lego Ninjago movie. I'd love to know what you think. Anyway, it's time for an end segment.
Let's go! I'm white. We're gonna film a video, mate.
I'm gonna be serious on this one, I'm not just gonna chat absolute shit.
Mate, that's what you're for.
Fuck you. Fuck off. Welcome to this is shit.
That's how I lost my virginity. Right, so we've done a random debate before.
You can't just leave them hanging like that.
It's okay, I'll edit it out. So we've done a random debate before, you know how it works, right? But last time I just read out debate topics. This time I'm going to give you the laptop, you're going to read me one, then you're going to give me the laptop and I'm going to read you one. Take.
Yeah.
Put your phone away, you big piece of shit. Take. YouTubers shouldn't be allowed to have sex.
If we're judging YouTubers by UJ, I'd be going along with that statement just from some of the things you do. Poor people should form an alliance with the elderly.
Fuck. I think that would probably be quite beneficial to both parties, because the elderly have got money and poor people have got fitness, probably, unless like they don't.
You say poor people have got fitness.
I would say people can be old and poor at the same time.
They're already in the alliance, so it doesn't matter. See, a lot of old people have got money, and a lot of poor people have got like the physical ability that all the elderly don't have. So that alliance would be beneficial to both parties. I think I've nailed it. Fuck you. What are you doing?
That would. He just went and fucking typed in Pornhub.
Take. Sex addicts make the best friends.
Friends with benefits.
Trousers shouldn't be allowed to vote. How are you struggling to argue that? That's like one of the most obvious things.
I'm struggling to argue because I see no beneficial point for even chatting about it. It's that stupid.
Obviously they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, when's the last time you saw like a pair of trousers with like an in-depth political opinion?
Why do people want to hear about this shit?
They don't. Take, what does the K stand for?
Can I be bothered with a K?
Starts with a C. I think the K stands for fuck, but the K is silent. Take, porn stars are better than teachers.
It's time for a teaser. See if you can work out what movie next week's Sin Sins video will be based on these clues.
I haven't decided what movie I'm going to be doing next week yet. Still feel free to guess though, if you want.
If you've enjoyed this, why not click one of the links on screen to watch more Sin Sins videos. Alternatively, you can click the link on screen to my Patreon, where I will be putting exclusive outtakes and things like that. I won't be putting anything crazy up, just things to say thank you to the people who do decide to support me. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.